United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A roll call, Madam Auditor.
Okay, Councilmember Rivas,
Here.
Councilmember Bozick,
Here, present.
Councilmember Brickner,
Here.
Councilmember Graham,
Here.
Councilmember Jessen,
Here.
Councilmember Wagner,
Here.
and Councilmember Sims.
Present.
7 present.
All right, here we are, final reading. Hopefully we can adopt the budget tonight. So we went through the line by line of all the other budgets. We had to make a lot of cuts. I know some people had, letters and requests. We're hoping we're not, some of them are just going to go unanswered. We have to prioritize to do, especially this year, to do what we did with the wage study. There's a lot of adjustments to bring the county, to bring everybody up to parity. And then, Mike will speak about it a little bit, getting to the midpoint. So that was a big lift by the wage committee. Appreciate it. It was you guys met 4 or 5 times. The auditor's office, who up until a couple hours ago, she was still making changes. They were here last night late. I think they're always here late, but so we only get so much new money, so we had to figure out how to fit everything in. I'm hoping we're not missing anything, but we're gonna go on with what we have right now. I don't know, Vicki, with everything that has been talked about over the last 24 hours, are we good with all the cuts that were made? And there was a number of departments, I think every department head got an email asking them, if they would look through a list that had some green highlighted areas where there were some lines that were unused or underused over the last couple of years. So some of the departments went in and helped us, find some money to do what we're doing. I know the auditor's office did cut. The judges went back after second reading, and they've been communicating and cutting. I appreciate that for sure. I don't know, Vicki, what other, there was some good voluntary cuts. JDC, I guess to name a few that helped us, like I said, the courts. So the other ones we just went in and cut on our own. So you guys will figure it out next year.
Sheriff cut stuff too.
Yeah, the sheriff cut, but there's a lot of cutting and moving around. So no, it was good. And the auditor, I appreciate everything that Tiffany, Tony, Vicki. I always want to keep singing like it's a song. Tiffany, Tony. I'm not sure what it was. But thank you guys. So I think, and I'm not sure. Like I mentioned to a few of you guys, scream, raise your hand, but I think we're at our numbers, so I don't know how much more adjusting we're going to do. I think we've got our numbers. I don't know. I'm not sure we're going to change anything. We were close when we left on second reading the last night, and with a few more cuts that came in, a few more maneuvering, I think we're there. So, and with that being said, it was a big lift. Whoever's president next year, I would say don't meet till like June or July, because we can't afford to. So. Mike, you want to kind of, touch on where we're at with things, and maybe we'll have Vicki begin to read the numbers unless there's
We don't need
anything.
a whole recap.
What's that?
We don't need the whole recap.
We'll touch on the wage committee and where the wage committee, finalized. They did have a recommendation, but that recommendation has been adjusted, in the last 24 hours. So.
Yeah, so one of the most important, and I would argue the most important component of the budget truly centers around wages. That's our largest expense, and I think our most important category in terms of doing what's right. So as the wage committee met on several occasions, spent a significant amount of time, a lot of discussion, some dialogue and debate thrown in there, talking about how to handle it. We reflect back on the whole concept of a wage study, which has been talked about for several years, but has never been done. And we knew it would be a monumental task to go through that. We were warned by several people to, be careful what you ask for. Whatever you find out, you'll never be able to afford it. And so for years, I'd have to say that that's in large part why the county never went down that road, to find out what that would look like. And so as we tackled, as we were willing to address the issue, tackle the project, and we knew going into it that at the end of it, not everybody will be 100% satisfied. There's a finite amount of money in the budget to allocate towards wages. And in addition to wages, there were certainly compelling arguments along the way in terms of additional things that people needed in their budget on top of it. So it has been a difficult task, an important task. I think, from the county's perspective, I think we are finally doing it right, in the sense that we're talking about employee pay and wages and compensation first, as opposed to waiting until the very end of the budget cycle and asking ourselves, well, how much is left, to what I would view as arbitrarily distributed among the people. And historically, it's been 2%, 3%. Can we go 3.5% or 4%? And that, I would view, has been, and I've been included in those discussions, it's been an arbitrary decision to say this is what we're going to do for everybody. But as we did that, each and every year, that allowed for further and more disparity between where the wages are and ultimately where they should be. And that varies by department, and it varies by employee, and it varies by job duties and job descriptions. So we got outside help. We got some, what I think is some terrific information in terms of where we should be and what our ultimate goal can be. And as we've worked through the different iterations of the plan, we have made a recommendation that we're comfortable with. Also a recommendation that we feel confident we can afford on an ongoing basis, and it's a big step. So hopefully at the end of it all, people see it, that it's not the end all be all, and it's not the final answer, but it is what I would view as a transformative, monumental first step to ultimately where we should be. And it's going to take several years to ultimately get there. And as we went through the different positions, it was clear that there were some departments and some employees that were further away from where they should be based on data. And these are all data-driven decisions, which is something new for us. We haven't taken an in-depth look at our structure compared to other municipalities. And so we've looked at all the different departments, and basically we have a recommendation to put forward to say that our goal for 2023 is to get everybody, first of all, to their internal base, which is basically making sure that there's reasonable parity among the people in similar roles throughout the county. And I can tell you that getting people to that internal base, which makes it fair among our county, that in and of itself is a big step. So our first goal was to say we want to get to that internal base. The second part of that goal is to say that we want to get everybody halfway to the external midpoint. And so that's what we're recommending, with a couple of exceptions to that. And so as we look at a couple of particular departments in terms of where they are as compared to counterparts in other municipalities, we felt it was in the best interest to make an exception for essentially making an exception for public safety components of county government, primarily in three or four different positions. And so to set the groundwork, everybody's getting to the internal base, everybody's getting to halfway to the midpoint. What we've talked about in the past still reigns true, that the maximum amount of an increase that a person could get is 20%. And we also want to make sure that at this point, our recommendation is that everybody will receive a minimum of a $4,000 increase. And that can be partially in salary and also in supplemental pay. But everyone will receive at least a $4,000 increase in 2023. What we're considering as public safety enhancements, we're looking at the Sheriff's Department in terms of the first-class patrol officers, corporals, and sergeants, and saying that, which would put them beyond the midpoint, we would go with a 5% salary increase to their salary. In addition to that, for our E911 first-class telecommunicators, they would get to, instead of halfway to midpoint, they would get to midpoint on the salary study data. And so those are the exceptions to that framework that I've described, and we're prepared to make that recommendation at this point.
So I appreciate the work of the committee. I think there's a lot of different raises. Like Mike said, to getting everybody up to the internal base to parity is a big step, and then the halfway, and then, next year there'll be another step. But I really like with the cost of living out there, the increases, the minimum of everybody's going to get is $4,000 for every county employee. We're trying up here, we really are. We have limited dollars to, not burden the taxpayers anymore. I know there's quiet conversations and promises being made about tax increases. That's not the case for this board up here, at least, that I've heard. So we got to continue to live within our means up here, and we're trying to do that and take care of our employees the best we can. We really are. The exception for public safety, it's telling, this council's telling it, we understand what you do, it matters. We're trying, we really are, and that's why I think the $4,000, with that exception, the $4,000 means a lot, so. So anybody got anything on that? I appreciate that work. I think that's a big step. Has anybody got?
Yeah, but Mr. Chairman, if I could, I'd just like to point out a couple, and there's good examples throughout all of the information, but a couple of categories that we, and departments that we know we've had historical issues with, that the data-driven material that we received from the salary study proves that out, and I may have mentioned it before, but in the prosecutor's office, we've been hearing that for several years, and I don't know if Prosecutor Gerben is here tonight. I assume he probably is. And he's been an advocate in talking about how his salaries have been woefully inadequate as compared to other jurisdictions and so forth, and as the study shows, he's right, as it turns out, which I didn't doubt for a minute. But several of the salary increases that will be seen in the prosecutor's office, are in the 13, 14, 15, 16% range, which I think is a healthy step. And I can tell you that that's not getting them to ultimately where they need to be, but it's a heck of a step. We talked about the Sheriff's Department with the first-class patrolmen, corporal, and sergeants. They'll see for 2023 a 6% increase, and the lion's share of that being in a salary increase, not the supplement. I look at in the jail, that's been an area where we've been, the jailers have been underpaid in my estimation. First-class jailers second-class jailers are going to see a 9% and a 10% increase. And the majority of that, the vast majority of that is all in their salary. So those are hefty increases that I think we can all feel good about, or should feel good about. 911, the first-class telecommunicators that we talked about, with how we've described it, they will see a 9% increase, and the vast majority of that will be in the way of salary, with a little bit of a supplement to get them to that point. So, and there's example after example after example. So I want to, I guess, underscore the significance of the increases that we're seeing. And it's not one or two or three departments. It's really throughout the entire employee base. And it's something that it's the right thing to do. It's long overdue. And I think we should all feel very good about this transformative, and I would certainly call it a first step. I mean, there's more work yet to be done.
Well, just to segue off of what the two of you have said, just to share, I mean, I think we've been talking about this now for a couple of years, and this is step one. This is I'm not going to say it's a marathon, but it's a journey. It took several years to kind of get to where we were, and we're trying to play catch-up, do it the right way, but I will say that we've been talking about that our employees are our number one priority. There are a lot of good things happening in our county, but we need to take care of our employees first. Our infrastructure comes first, and I think that this is a message that this council is committed to that, and we'll continue to work and move forward. Employees are an investment, and I think that this is a great first step, and hopefully we still have work to do.
In the Wage Committee, Mike, Greg, Sylvia, on and off, filling in, sure, and Mike, I appreciate you guys' work in the auditor's office, absolutely. And there's, I think you said something about the infrastructure. There are some enhancements in the stormwater department, so, those requests, I believe, are in the budget, so approved. With the field tech, the asset manager, and the right-of-way engineer, so there's a lot of work out there that they're doing on infrastructure, so that is in there. Is there anything, Allison, were you okay with that flip-flop? Was that, we're okay, we're good? Yeah, all right. I don't think anything else. Mitch, with part-time person, that money, was that, I know that we talked about that a little bit. Are you able to do it with your salary, with your?
Part-time.
You're good?
Hourly.
Okay, all right. So, we're good. Madam Auditor, I don't know if we're leaving anything out, if the council members, if we're missing anything. I know we're not everybody got what they want, but we're hoping most did, and that's in salaries, so.
And with the changes that were made, that are suggested yesterday with the public safety enhancements, there were a lot of various cuts that were made to make that work. We were very close to getting it to work prior to yesterday, and then yesterday, lots of things changed, but we are right to our goal. We're right to the goal right now.
All right, well, I think,
We were asked to make several changes in several of our budgets.
The specialty pay?
The specialty pay, and then there were some
Yes.
24s that we had asked for changes.
Right.
Okay.
That's in the public safety enhancements.
so the specialty plays were put in there, yes.
That email that I sent yesterday, that all,
Yes.
okay. I just didn't know. if
We put
needed a
together
whole-
the complete list of the enhancements,
Okay,
and all of that is in there.
So,
And we also slightly revised some of your cuts, Sheriff. We determined that you didn't need to make as much as you did last night in your frantic effort to meet these enhancements. So we put a little bit more back into those line items that you regularly use. So hopefully you won't need to come back for an additional appropriation next year.
So all the specialty pays for the sheriff that he put in, that this pay study recommended, is in these numbers?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's the exact numbers, but right now the specialty pay, it looks like K-9 4,500, CSI 1,000, each drone 1,000, accident reconstruction 1,000, bomb squad 1,000, SWAT 1,000, negotiators 1,000, MRAT, well, what's the 500, I'm not sure what that is.
And that's what you guys were looking for, right? Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
they're in there, so those changes were made, so. Bob, I think the changes are right with your department, so we believe so. So with that said, Madam Auditor, I mean, the final reading, do you want to read all the numbers
What?
out loud? What's that?
How about by title, can't you just read it by title only?
You don't want her to?
There were numerous funds that were changed because of the FICA and PERF adjustments, so unfortunately,
Well, listen,
unless the president wants to read it, I know one year the president read it.
This is your last budget. Why would I take that away from you? I would not take that away from you.
That's your thunder.
This is for final reading and budget adoption. Go as fast as possible. Okay, general fund, $45,171,113. Accident report, $26,639. Lit, $6,694,173. Clerk perpetuation, $185,741. 1122 county corrections, $129,000. Cumulative bridge, $8,116,472. Cumulative capital development, $2,323,809. Emergency planning, $18,000. County extradition, $5,000. Firearms training, $85,000. Health, $2,262,923. Local health maintenance, $92,990. Local roads and street, $1,805,000. Medical inmates, $23,100. Highway fund, $5,035,124. Park operating, $227,029. Plan commission, $927,491. Auditor plat map, $60,597. Stormwater fund, $4,173,180. Reassessment, $565,382. Recorder's perpetuation, $333,566. Riverboat money, $407,239. Sexual violent offender fund, $23,165. Sheriff pension fund, $250,000. Public defender, $114,000. Surveyor's perpetuation, $200,169. Tobacco fund, $69,365. Unsafe building, $200,000. Vehicle inspection, $5,000. Auditor non-reverting, $297,443. Elected official training, $11,085. Hazardous substance, $40,750. E911, $2,532,000. Juvenile probation ad fee, $7,564. Adult probation supplemental, $432,147. Adult probation supplemental and abuse, $80,605. Supplemental juvenile probation, $117,370. PCADRF, $7,726. County user fee prosecutor deferral, $364,844. County user fee prosecutor pretrial, $136,859. County user fee sheriff continuing ed, $2,500. County user fee sheriff, $21,434. County user fee jury fund, $45,000. Drain maintenance, $760,000. Expo center, $638,645. Animal shelter fees, shelter, $110,999. Animal shelter supplemental, $199,940. Animal control fee control, $67,367. Drug task force fund, $151,682. Garage fund, $14,500. District 1 task force fund, EMA, $31,140. Animal shelter donation, $151,120. Wildlife management donation, $24,275. Sheriff donation, $54,000. Overweight vehicle sheriff, $22,670. Overweight vehicles, highway, $50,000. Debt funds, $2,965,000. Insurance fund, $12 million. Stormwater construction fund, $2,725,000. Hospital sale proceeds, $665,000. Cable franchise, $1,100,000. Public safety, $367,829. Videotape fee, $10,000. Photo duplicate, $11,000. Inmate processing fee, $120,702. MOH management fund, $545,498. JDC codes, $90,676. Foundation budget fund, $4,950,968. Portage School Resource Officers, $219,695. Highway Engineering Fund, $160,000. Forfeiture Pass-Through Fund, $250,000. Countywide CAD 911 System, $293,594. Sheriff Overtime Fund, $155,016. Prosecutor PCA, $10,000. Domestic Violence, $177,184. STOP Grant, $50,544. SCAP Grant, $3,900. Addictions Response Grant, $12,000. DEA proceeds, $125,000. Bioterrorism, $84,744. Family and Child Grant, $10,765. Trail Fund, $20,500. Health IIC Grant, $122,121. MOH IAC Grant, $9,530. General 4D Incentive, $126,440. Prosecutor New 4D, $175,713. Clerks New 4D, $88,240. 8911 COVID Immunization Vaccination Grant, $261,120,000. COVID Epidemiology Lab, $101,490. COVID Workforce Co-op Ad, $156,595. Court Interpretive Grant, $9,000. Family Court Donation, $31,348. Adult Community Corrections, $269,412. Court Community Corrections, $81,572. Adult Probation CC Pretrial, $189,918. Vassia Guardianship Grant, $60,000. LR&B Matching Grant, $1 million. Special Airport General, $1,493,249. Special Airport Cumulative Building, $338,555. Special Recycling and Waste Reduction, Waste Management, $1,781,987. Special Recycling and Waste Reduction Capital, $58,500. West Porter Township General Fund, $147,720. That was the West Porter Township Fire Service Fund. And the West Porter Township Fire, $94,085. And PCC RVC Tourism, $2,123,127. And that consists of final reading for the funds I just read.
Very good.
All right. Yeah. I think, Vicky,
Yes.
so if we start changing things, what happens?
We just got one change, small
No,
change.
did you
Haven't voted.
did you put that,
EMA.
that hourly in for weights and measures? Did we increase that?
No, we did not. We did the rate, but not the appropriation.
All
He
right,
has no money for it.
so,
Did you want to put the appropriation in the hourly? We can, because we moved some of what I talked about, how we restructured into FICA and PERF. So if you wanted to, we could move that into his hourly.
Save us him coming back.
how much would it, you think it would be?
Put 10 in it for now.
I thought,
What was the rate that was?
Was it 18? He's back there if you want to ask
18.
him.
Mike,
Was it 18 an hour you were asking for up to?
so you were saying you were going to maybe come back for the appropriation, because you don't have anything in the hourly? So with what, 10,000?
Yeah.
What you need.
10,000 would have started, and if you need more, then you just come back.
Is that 20 now?
Yeah.
Where are we lowering it?
All right. We don't have a lot of room to move here,
No, we don't.
10 grand.
so that's in there. It's in there, right? They put it in there.
I hope so.
Can you type 10,000, please? Can someone just hit the 1000? Just 1000? Our biggest supporter's leaving. Did you see that, Johan?
Okay, so you asked for 20,000.
Does he know what he wants? Or how much it's gonna cost?
You're gonna take- Okay, so what she's doing is she's taking 5,000 out of perf, so that's something we cannot run short on, but in the event we're not fully staffed, there should be some certainty, but we always budget to the full amount.
Okay.
So,
We're covering all issues, that's one of them, right?
Yeah. All right. Andy, did you have something?
same.
Yeah, we asked EMA to come back tonight, and we would tackle their request for moving their administrative assistant to a normal personnel for them. I don't know what the title would be. Coordinator, and it's about $8,000 more. The federal government, he was telling me, picks up about half of that, so it's about 4,000 more. But we asked him to come back tonight, we didn't tackle
You
that.
know, we asked everybody to come back too, and then when we
Well,
figured out the $4,000 and raised a lot of things,
I'm not saying we have to do it, he's just asking, you know, do we want to do that or entertain that at this time or no?
so it's just a 144 change. What is the cost to that? Again, what did you say?
79 something,
7949.
and then you said the government picks up half,
After
or Homeland?
Security pays half, it's 3974.
All right. Can that be done real fast, and then
We're done.
we got to get this approved, or?
Wait, there's more.
No, there can't be.
Yeah, there
This
will be.
constitutes a special raise, basically.
What's that?
I got more to be.
Constitutes a special raise because this is already an existing employee.
It's a reclassification of the job.
This is gonna,
Yeah.
that's not something we should tackle now?
You think it is, Greg?
No, I was,
Oh.
something else.
I thought you were nodding for that too.
Double nod?
Oh, Lance broke the system for $4,000.
does that 4,000 come back? General fund?
Yeah, that affects the stipend and stuff.
affects all the ARPA stuff.
Maybe it's best to leave it and tackle it later if we decide to tackle it. I don't know. I don't want to rewrite the whole book, because we'd have to sit through her reading it again. That's not really why, Lance, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would have.
That wasn't funny, I take that back.
You can't even install
Yeah, they're getting
$4,000 a lot.
enhancement or whatever you call it, something.
I didn't think of it that way.
Everything you say is.
It's up to
We
you.
usually do that after I say it.
Supplement?
I do a lot of apologizing to that one employee. Now we stop the whole show. I don't know what's going on there.
Which isn't, we could change it.
Can we just change that one, and that's it? And I'll entertain a motion with that change only. I mean, do we need the bottom line numbers?
Yeah, we gotta do some
those two numbers.
calculation.
Well, I'll still entertain a motion right now, and then we could wait while the motion's out there to, with the $10,000 change
I'll make a motion
and
to,
that change to EMA. There's a motion for that.
Both of those
Bottom line
changes.
numbers with the change from,
EMA and as Mike's department, weights and
Mike's weights and
measures.
measure. All right,
I'll
there's a
second
motion and a
that.
second on the floor. Do you need a break to fix that? Are we good?
The amount didn't change for weights and measures because we just took it
Okay.
out of a different line item. But this one, we're gonna have to calculate some.
I still approve that.
I would still
Can we
second.
go with those changes? I mean, can you,
Yeah.
the motion?
Or you could go forward if you want to continue your meeting.
No,
And then
Madam
revisit the
Auditor, there's a
the
motion and a
general
second on
fund
the floor.
adoption
You're arguing with
later.
me right now in front of all these people.
Hey, it's my last budget.
She's gonna win. I'm married, I know how that works.
Right.
Revisit the
Sale.
general fund budget adoption later, if you so choose to. Or we could take a break and calculate it all now. It's up to you.
Let's take 5 minutes so we can finish this and clean it up and be done with it.
Frisbees.
With those two changes, you're saying the numbers stay the same with those
For
two
the general
changes?
fund, the numbers stayed the same at 45,171,113.
Good.
All right, so
Just
that's,
cut your pay, that's all.
thank you. So,
That's
and
fair.
there's a motion, a second on the floor, with all the numbers she read for final reading and adoption of the budget, the budgets that were read. And, is there any further discussion? Can we get a roll call on, final reading of the budgets that were read off?
Okay, Councilmember Bozick,
Yes.
Councilmember Brickner,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen,
Yes.
Councilmember Wagner,
Yes.
Councilmember Sims,
Yes.
and Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
7-0.
All right, and a couple things. A lot goes on. I know we tell you guys to put the letters in. I know we tell you to come back, then things are happening. We're trying to figure out the bigger picture, so some of the individual requests get lost in us trying to drill down and do the most, as much as we can for the most people in the county, is always our goal, for sure. And I can't stress enough, this is her last meeting with that auditor's office. I can't imagine what it would be like without this team over here to be able to do this, what we've done in the county over the last couple of years, what we're able to do this year. It's just, Vicki, you and your crew, it's just, thank you for what you guys do. So, you're gonna be missed. But hopefully there's a good chance that maybe you don't go very far. Because we get to run around and make the decisions, but it's not possible without, throwing things at you guys, and you guys putting the numbers together. So it's not possible at all, so we appreciate it, and thank you for everything. Thank you for the wage committee, thank you for all the hard work. This was a lot, there's a lot of moving parts, and it's not perfect. I'm sure we're gonna miss a few things. That's why we get together every month. This is the big part of our responsibility, the biggest, but the budget process never stops throughout the year. So there's probably gonna be some adjustments if we miss something, Bob, I think our intention was to grant you what you were asking for. If we miss something, please, let's make certain we clean it up. So I think we're good. I think the budget session is done, but there is another budget that we have to discuss. It's ARPA, because that has to be approved because like over $1 million is being paid for all the stipends out of ARPA. So, what I'm gonna do, Harold, is just, suspend the council meeting, the budget meeting, and then we'll go into our regular meeting, and then we're gonna take up ARPA, and then I think the goal would be to, if it all passes with this board, that we can come back and pass another budget for 2023 for that ARPA money, because we can approve appropriation this year, but if, it would just have to be reappropriated next year if we don't have a budget to stick it in, and we don't have anything to encumber it with. So, I would say,
Do you need a motion or something?
you want a motion to suspend or go in recess? I don't know what it is.
Motion to adjourn and then begin with the regular council meeting.
Well, I don't want to necessarily adjourn, do we? I mean, do we want to?
Adjourn the final reading. I guess we really can't,
Yeah.
A motion to address the ARPA funds. I think that would be sufficient.
So, I mean, our goal is to just kind of pause this meeting, get into our regular council meeting.
This meeting goes into recess, we move on to the next, and
I'll make a motion to put the meeting in recess.
All right, there's a motion, second on the floor. So, all in favor of just going to recess, suspending this meeting for a little while, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
We're not gonna get up again.
So you want to, Sylvia doesn't want to get up again, so we're going to roll right into our council meeting.
I like America.
So, to finish our budgeting process, then, you talked about, so we don't have to try to deal with any kind of encumbrances, that probably a lot of it we couldn't. So to create a budget for our,
So basically, this just solidifies everything that you just did, plus all the other appropriations that were approved earlier this year, because they would expire at the end of this year if they weren't encumbered, and some cannot be encumbered.
this
We
includes
looked into it.
this includes the other subcommittees that met, everything we already approved.
It includes everything.
Everything
It
we approved.
includes, except for the projects that have already been completed, like
Okay.
premium, asterisk mark, that hasn't completely been completed, but, like the behavioral health study, the township assistance, the Marquette Trail, all the stormwater projects, the nonprofits that were approved last month, because you already approved some nonprofits last month with infrastructure, the library, the whole list, everything. And it's not broken down in the budget because we don't break things down in that way when we budget, we just use the line items. But so basically, this just cements everything that has been done so far this year, plus what you did tonight. And this will be the budget for 2023. However, keep in mind, some of these items still need to be finalized by the commissioners.
Yes, we will. So, all right, so there's a budget right in front of you for $31,167,334. This is the COVID fiscal recovery budget. I'll entertain a motion to approve
Motion
it.
approved.
Second.
Motion in a couple seconds. Discussion? Hearing none, can we get a roll call on this budget?
Okay, Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen,
Yes.
Councilmember Wagner,
Yes.
Councilmember Sims,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
Councilmember Bozick,
Yes.
and Councilmember Brickner.
Yes.
Okay, 7-0.
Would you say, Madam Auditor, Tiffany and Tony, that we're done? Did we?
I would say
Did we
so,
complete
yes.
our task,
Yes.
budgeting?
Excellent.
So,
Motion to adjourn?
well, I would, since.
You said we were done.
Yeah. Commissioner Biggs is still here. Commissioner Biggs, if you want, if you don't mind, if you come up and maybe discuss. Discuss what? Kind of what we just did, and we'll, to put this on your agenda for the next meeting, and what are your feelings? We put.
Council had a difficult job balancing the budget. Congratulations to that. I'm going to hold any comment for my opinion on what you're doing for the
Okay. Anybody got anything else? Nope.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion. Word?
Second.
Second? Thank you. All in favor?
So there's no public comment again?
We've had public comment at the, so, I'll tell you what, here, public comment for the budget session was before first reading. That's what, we're in this meeting right now. So budget session is finalized. That's what, you follow it, budget session, when we first reading is the public comment section of that, and we just went to second reading and final reading. So, no, absolutely, there isn't any further comment. Now, if a few people want to comment and are going to be respectful, then we'll open the floor up for a quick few minutes, but it's going to be respectful, it'll be quick, if you want to come up and speak real fast on what we just did, it was a lot over the last couple of meetings, over the last couple of weeks, by all means, be respectful, state your name, and spend a couple minutes.
I was actually referring to the actual
Council agenda?
the county council
Can you hear it?
budget meeting. I didn't come up and speak. I'm Dawn Miller. I live in Valpo. I didn't come up and speak in the beginning because there wasn't much on here, and then you guys kind of sneaked in the other things, $5 million for the Opera House, so that's kind of why it took me by surprise. I'm trying to be very respectful, Councilman Rivas, but you've not even looked my way once.
I can hear you, I'm also multitasking. Just state your statement, opinion, please. You're addressing the entire council. If you want to talk to me, we can talk after the meeting.
Oh, I was addressing the entire council,
Thank
thank you. I just thought that it was interesting that the 5 million to the Memorial Opera House was not typed on here, it was kind of just thrown out there. And you gave the public an opportunity to speak in the beginning, but when you have extra things thrown on here that we don't know of, there's no way that we can speak on them until we actually hear them. That's what I have to say, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Walt Breitner, and live downtown Valpo, and I absolutely love the Memorial Opera House. If you have any doubt about that, I've been involved. There are a few people that were more involved in historic preservation than I have, but they've all passed away. My initial work started with trying to preserve some of the buildings downtown, and I was successful, along with others, in saving four historic buildings. My own home is on the National Register of Historic Places, and I've made a lot of sacrifices to save my own house, as well as one of the properties, the Mariu building on Campbell Road. But to me, saving and respecting the Memorial Opera House is one of the most important things that we can do. I love the Opera House. And when I heard about this plan of blowing a hole through the side of it and adding the brick and glass extension, it actually made me ill. I was so worried that that might happen. And then over a period of time, I attended 14 of the subcommittee meetings. I was here at the steering committee when one of the commissioners in tears said, "I'm so glad that we took the Opera House plans out, and instead we're going to focus on the nonprofits and have a fair process where all the public would be allowed to have input." Went through all the committee choices, listened to all that, some good, some bad, and it was just, I watched Vicki do an enormous amount of work, and the council and the commissioners, and when that steering committee met and said, well, we are definitely, and Commissioner Blaney promised, she said, well, now finally we're removing the Opera House altogether, and we're going to focus on this new process, which is going to be inclusive of so many people, and it was a wonderful process. And a lot of you here and the commissioners, I watched them, and members of the public that were chosen very carefully to speak up, and I think that was wonderful. And I'm here to say I am delighted to see that there'll be money going toward the Opera House for its protection, restoration, things like a new roof, tuck pointing, all those types of things. But I'm just very worried. What I hear here is that, what I'm very afraid of is that the historic nature, the reason that the property is on the National Register of Historic Places, that property needs to be respected and protected. And to do that, if that's part of this project, to add that extension onto the Opera House, we're going to have to take that off someday. The younger generation, people that are into history and protection of historic and preservation of historic buildings, they're going to want to take that all off. But we've seen this through the 60s and 70s, people putting facades on historic buildings, make them look whatever people are trying to do in this case, and then they come back decades, in some cases 30, 40 years later, and it's very expensive to take all those items off and restore the building. It's very expensive, and we're going to have to face all that. I don't know where that money's going to come from, but if we put that extension and we make those holes in those buildings for that aluminum and glass thing, that is going to destroy, at least compromise, the historic nature of the building. So I just wanted to emphasize, if that's part of what you're thinking about doing, that's a major mistake. And I don't think the public has any inkling, I don't think they have any understanding that that's what's being considered. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I just want to take this time, there are many nonprofits that you guys have just made a game changer for. This process has been Rebecca Reiner of Valparaiso, Indiana, Neighbors Educational Opportunities. I just want to thank you all. I want to thank Commissioner Biggs. I know you've had a huge task in front of you. Vicki has been incredibly responsive, and I just want to go on the record to say thank you for all your hard work. And as much as you know about the Opera House and your buildings and your roads, I really hope that this has also heightened your awareness of the incredible nonprofits. And I want to continue to invite you to visit the nonprofits and get to know the work that they're doing to improve the quality of life in Porter County. And this night's decision will be a game changer for many of us. So I want to thank you and thank Commissioner Biggs. So thank you.
Mr. Rivas, I have a question, and maybe it's for Vicki. So now that we've passed it, do the nonprofits get what we pass, or does that have to go in front of the commissioners and they have to pass it? So are these, when she thanks us for this money, is there still another step, or are they actually getting it now?
It's another step.
I mean, they got a step, they got to come meet with you, I get that.
Correct.
But the commissioners already approved it, it's
Yes,
less, so it's
yes.
okay?
I believe it's okay, because the commissioners, according to the State Board of Accounts, needs to pass a ordinance that specifies how the ARPA money is to be used, specifies projects. And they put a dollar amount on that, but you chose to appropriate a different dollar amount. So to me, the project is still approved, but at that dollar amount.
I just wanted to
Now-
clarify.
Now, maybe this is a more of a legal question, I don't know, but I will say that earlier this year, the commissioners passed a plan that had a certain dollar amount for premium pay and for behavioral health study. And you appropriated a different amount for premium pay. And we actually spent less than that. And the reason is because by the time we get through all of it, there's different decisions made, there's different.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I
fine-tuning.
didn't want to let people down if the commissioners didn't
No, I
pass
would be
it.
under the opinion, Andy, yeah, that's approved, it's done.
It's a done deal.
We
Okay.
funded it just at a smaller level, they approved it, we funded it at a smaller level, it's done, it's just
Awesome.
them working through.
That's all I had,
Yeah.
thank you.
That would be my thinking, because we've already done it with premium pay and the behavioral health. The amount that was approved was different than the appropriation,
I
Okay.
agree with Vicki.
Yeah,
and that's
okay.
what's the premium.
Perfect. Harold
the
agrees too,
behavioral
so-
health.
We're good.
All right, sir?
Do you have something for the agenda, on the agenda?
It's just,
Oh, he's been here before.
My name is Cedric Northern. I used to reside at 2018 Double Eagle Lane before I was evicted for reporting low in Valparaiso. I've been going through hell since then. I'm homeless. Mike Jensen and everyone on the council is fully aware of the situation with the old molded toilet water pouring in my face. I got an ulcer on the bottom of my foot, which is the Judge Christopher Buckley, which is part of Porter County, won't let me get back into my apartment to get my medical equipment. I thought that racism was over. Y'all treat me like an animal. I call you don't answer messages or emails or anything. That's a hatred crime. And I'm pretty sure that y'all are aware of the federal lawsuits. But a lawsuit can't bring back the pain that y'all have caused me. I'm not an animal. I'm a human being. That's not fair toward me. I've been ignored. I slept in my car, hotels, and I'm sick from mold. I tested positive for mold in my blood. The township guy told me that they're not giving me no more help because I'm not a resident of Porter County. And then the mayor said that he don't want to speak with me because I'm suing the city and it's going to affect the taxpayers. It's the taxpayers' dollars. Like, I'm not a human. Like, I'm not a tenant. My ancestors built this country. The foundation. It would be no building, it would be no America without our foundation. Everybody, we built this country together, but my ancestors, it was literally built off of our backs. And to be disrespected like that, that's not fair to me. And that's a crime, that's a hate crime. And everybody from the Porter County Council Board can be charged for a crime.
You've never contacted us, you contacted Valpo, right?
No.
You've never contacted me.
I got the emails, I got copies of the email, I contacted all y'all. Everybody, I got the copies of the email. And it's a crime not to report a crime. That's a crime. Do you know how I feel? To be treated like an animal? Lesser than an animal. And then the building department, Valparaiso, Vicky covering it up, the whole city of Valparaiso and Porter County covering it up.
But we're not over the city of Valpo.
Okay, but you're in Porter County though. You're in Porter County. Christopher Buckley is a judge in Porter County. And I also have a federal lawsuit against the Porter County sheriffs. I reported it to them, the perjury and everything is going on, and I'm being ignored. If I was right, I wouldn't be ignored. So why am I being ignored?
But we're the financial arm of the government.
Okay, I understand, but you, are you a citizen, yes or no? I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen I'm a user, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to get treated like a user and not just somebody that's, that's being treated unfairly.
And I'm not trying to blow you off, I'm just saying that there's not much that we can do from what our positions are, which is just in charge of the county money. We're not part of the city of Valpo. Our hands are kind of tied, so I guess I don't know what you're asking us to do.
Okay, well, I'm asking y'all to make laws with mold. Y'all Porter County right here.
We don't make any laws, though, we only do the budget.
Okay, y'all do the budget. I mean, but y'all can report the misconduct and the racism and the hatred stuff to whoever y'all need to report it to, right?
Well, it sounds like you reported it. You said you've got a
Yeah.
lawsuit going, so then that would be handled, and I'm sure our attorney's not going
Oh,
to.
no, it ain't gonna be no just no lawsuit. It's gonna be criminal charges too. And you know exactly who I am. And your attitude ain't gonna, what that's gonna do? Do you wanna apologize for how I've been treated?
Sir,
Our 400 years of slavery is over with, sir.
all right, sir.
You're gonna treat me like a human. I don't care about that thing. You're gonna treat me like a human. Genesis 15, 13, and 14. God said that we would be enslaved for 400 years in a foreign land. But afterward, he will punish the nation, which he's doing now, and we will come out with great wealth. 1719, 1819, 1919, 2019. They already disrespected my ancestors when they cheated in the election, in 2020 election.
All right,
Yeah.
sir, we appreciate.
So what? So what?
Giving you the time, sir. I mean, you've gotten off a little bit of what the medium.
I ain't never gotten off nothing.
So,
Y'all gotten off. Did you apologize? Mike Jensen, you know exactly what's going on, but you said nothing. Did you report the crime to the police?
sir, we're gonna stop with, I appreciate your conversation, we appreciate your comments. So, if you could put the mic back, I thank you. Is there anybody else? All right, seeing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.